One. Welcome to another episode of Debuffed WildStar News. It is November 14th, 2013, and I'm Steelheart, filling in for Mr. Puddles tonight. With me tonight, I have Chip. Say hi, Chip.
Gentlemen and ladies, good afternoon.
And Streeg. Say hi, Streeg.
Hello, everybody.
Tonight, we got a little bit to discuss tonight. There's been some major announcements. Now, last week we talked about the Warrior. Carbine released the video for the Warrior, and the class definitely has a tanky feel to it for you tank lovers. I'm a tank lover. I've always been a tank, so I'm looking at it. I'm going, ooh. Well, this week, true to their promise, they're going to release one class video a week. This week it was the Esper. And that was quite an interesting video. But for those that haven't seen it, Dash, can you show the video?
Welcome to WildStar. This is DevSpeak. Stop. Disclaimer time. Let's get into another one of our delicious WildStar classes. This one's called the Esper.
Hey, someone turn off their
Our
sound.
goal with the Esper was to make a flashy, telekinetic illusionist that uses his mind to heal and do damage from varying distances. Basically combining Professor X with the Green Lantern. Thanks to limited action set, the Esper can be played a number of ways. But me, I like to pick a spot, aim, and unleash. Then, displace. Now Espers come packing with a telekinetic Psyblade, powerful illusions, light armor, and a migraine. The Psyblade is a bladed weapon that Espers control with their minds. They're also able to manifest multiple copies of the Psyblade when needed. Jealous? Now illusions are the Esper's specialty. Attacking their enemies' minds, Espers unleash powerful nightmare visions on their foes, or beneficial dreams on their allies. Ooh. The Esper can also conjure all sorts of bizarre creatures to harass you with. Want some crazy CC abilities? Esper's got them. Snares, roots, knockbacks, knockdowns, subdue, monitor turnoffs. Just kidding. Remember, you've got light armor, so keep your distance and stay on your toes. Or spin on your toes. Or turn into a unicorn. That wraps it up for the Esper. Hit up our site for more info. Don't forget social media. Remember.
Okay. Now that looked really interesting. Streak, thoughts?
Dude, man, you gotta love Frost, man. He just really knows how to make those videos, man. He is definitely a trip. I like this. I like the Esper. It was actually before the rumors of the medic came out. Was going to be my main class because they can be a healer. I think a lot like the Warrior classes, the Esper, you're going to have a choice whether you want to go full all-out healer type class or if you want to go full all-out DPS class, or a mixture, a little bit of both. I'm kind of still on the same page as I am with the Warrior, that if you want to kind of level up and do some soloing stuff, you're probably going to do a little mixture of both. When you get towards the tail end of the game, you hit that end game content with the raids and the big dungeons and the battlegrounds and stuff. I'm going to basically assume that you're probably going to want to focus on one end or the other if you really want to optimize your character.
Yeah. To me, this looks like I'm not going to say a pure support class, but it is definitely a support class. It looks like you got your crowd control. Looks like you got a little bit of heals, snares, old school terminology, snares, mezzes, roots, heals, a little bit of damage. It definitely looks like the support class of the game. When I say the support class, I mean the support class. Kind of like the Enchanter was.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
EverQuest. There's a lot of similarities with that. It's going to be, you're going to want an Esper or 5 on a 40-man raid for sure. No doubt about it. I bet they even buff stats and everything. I would hazard a guess. Chip, what are your thoughts?
If that's a support class, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, in that last part of the video, there was a girl spinning around with, blades coming out of her and just shooting at you. Can you imagine like a gank squad of just espers and you just see like 40 swords coming at you and you insta die? It's like, yeah, you might as well just bleed. So, that's some really interesting stuff. If they offer the flexibility of doing some damage, because let's face it, if you're a full support like I like to be, you can't just sit there and heal and then you're just gonna stand around like your HP's going down. You're just playing the how low can you go game. No, you need to be flexible. You need to offer some damage, offer a little bit more, and that's what it looks like they're doing here. So it's really promising to see.
And and usually from experience, if a class has that much versatility to it, it's probably not going to be a viable primary healer, in my opinion. Maybe a secondary healer, but definitely not a primary healer. I know Strieg, you're kind of the healer of the group.
Yep.
Do you see that being able to compete with a full healer like a medic, or is this just kind of a band-aid versus a bandage?
No, I definitely see them as a primary healer. I think that flexibility gives you that option. Like I said, you can either go, you can set up your class and your abilities, and it's like a swaying bar. I mean, you can go all to healer and you will definitely keep up with any kind of medic or any other healer and be a primary healer. You can forget about the healing and swing all the way over to the other side and just go all out DPS like a caster type class. Or you can go somewhere in the middle and be that support type class where you can say, okay, I'm going to do maybe spot healing and group healing and have a certain amount set aside for DPS and kind of be that support type role. But with the flexibility that they're giving you, if you want to put all your points into the healing and forget about the DPS side, you can definitely be a primary healer with this class.
So what you're thinking is sacrifice one for the other. You can either
Absolutely.
go healer or support. Well, they're both support, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you've got to decide where in that spectrum you want to go, and it's completely flexible. If you want to be the primary healer that's healing the tank and being the number one healer in the raid, then you're going to have to sacrifice your DPS and go all out heal. And that's the way it should be, is balance. You can't have it both ways. You can't be top of the DPS chart and top of the healing chart, and I mean that's what everybody wants, but that's just not the way to do it, obviously. So you're going to have to make that sacrifice, and if you want to be somewhere in the middle, then you can set it up that way. But it's all about choices. But you're definitely going to have to sacrifice one for the other.
All right, now you're an older gentleman like me. Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
Like me. We've been around a while. What does the blade remind you of?
What does the blade?
Old movie. Kroll.
Oh, Kroll. Yes, Kroll.
Yeah.
Yes,
Kroll.
You're right.
They got
It
a
does
Kroll
remind you
blade.
of Kroll.
Ah, those things are awesome. So Chip, based on what we've seen there, if you played an Esper, how would you set it up?
Oh, there's no question. I want to be doing the sword damage. I want to be going out there just going, you're dead. Swords going out there. Swords going out there. And like somebody's trying to sneak up on you. It's like, bro, please. Boom! Back to the sword. Bang! You're dead. See ya. That's how you gotta roll. I mean, healing's nice and all, but sometimes when you have some fancy looking skills like Chick when spinning around like a little sword tornado, you have to take advantage of what they give you here.
Absolutely. Now, viable spec for a raid, yes or no? So it seems to me that they're going to want Espers for either heals or pure support.
Now, a lot of this game seems to participate in the thinking of it's not really mostly about what you have. Do you know the MMOs where it's your gear dependent? It's like all you need is the gear. You can face roll. So it seems to me from what WildStar and what Carbon Studios is really trying to do. Optimally, they have an optimal of what the class would do, but that doesn't mean you're going to lock into that. So you can be a DPS Esper, and if you know what you're doing, you will make people go, whoa, this is something new. I want to try this. it doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just harder. So it's a challenge for all of the players to try to check out. So I really think that, you really have to play with the class and figure out, it's not always about what the developers think. They think one way, but we think another, and, we can make it work.
Yeah, very true. How many times have we seen in a game player take a class and do something that the developers didn't necessarily envision it really being capable of? I know the Rangers in the original EQ for a long time. You played a Ranger, or most people did. That was your big DPS class. And, what about you, Creed? How would you roll an Esper? Or Stream, sorry.
Yeah.
Creed will get me for that one.
Well, obviously I'm a healer, so I would be rolling a healer myself. But like I said, it depends on the situation. I'll be honest with you. If I was, playing an Esper and I was leveling up, I would be aiming somewhere in the middle, because I'd want to be able to go out there, do some DPS, kill some mobs, and still have the flexibility to heal myself or the one or two other people in my group. When it got to raid situation, I really like this because I even though I am a healer, I do really like DPS classes as well. And I just think it's the way that they have it done is so nice, because if you go to a raid and all of a sudden you don't have enough healers, oh geez, no problem. I switch around my abilities and ta-da, I'm a top-notch healer. And if we have too many healers, then I swap it around and I'm top of the DPS charts, or like I said, somewhere in between. So I mean, that flexibility, you can go into a raid and not have to worry about, oh, do we have enough of this class? Do we have enough of that class? You can tweak your different classes to make it work. And kind of like Chip was saying, just because there's one most optimal way to do it and most efficient way to do it, doesn't mean you have to do it that way. Maybe it takes a little bit more strategy, a little bit more tries, a little bit longer to get it done, but you don't have to do it the most efficient way. You can do it whatever way that you enjoy playing.
Yeah, kind of like the warrior we saw last week. Leveling up a warrior,
Yep.
You're definitely going to want a combination of offense and defense. Even for, I'm guessing, probably some of the dungeons, to go into. When it comes to raiding, definitely either offense or defense, in my opinion, to be viable, at least the warrior class. Yet, somewhere in between, I don't know. I've seen other games try to get the equal median in between defense and offense with the warrior type classes, and
Well, I mean, you're an old EQ player still, like myself. And
oh yeah,
you remember those big raids. I mean, you had your big main tank on the raids, but you also had to have 2, 3, 4 off tanks.
absolutely.
So you get a situation like that, an off tank, that's a perfect scenario where you might want to go a little bit, tankish, and then go somewhere in the middle, do a little DPS, and kind of go somewhere in between to do an off tanking type role.
Yep, makes perfect sense. So other news is apparently it was dropped down the vine. One of the developers or Carbine representatives, I don't remember which one, so apologies for that, has said that beta invites are going out. Now, a lot of us didn't expect this to really happen until after they revealed class number 6 or during the last week of the class reveals. But it has been said by the developers that beta invites are going out. I believe they said first slowly, then they're going to ramp it up a little bit toward the end. What do you think? Good? Yeah, Chip says
Chip
good.
gives a thumbs up. I was shocked myself. I mean, like you said, I wasn't expecting betas to fire back up for another month and a half. So this kind of really caught me off guard. So I guess they're doing, like you said, a small startup, get some beta invites out there, and then over the next 3-4 weeks, they're gonna filter in more and more. There was rumors, or not rumors, but they actually came out and said that they had sent some beta invites, friend tickets, that they could pass out for friend invites. So they only sent out a few of them. They're going to give it a while, see how it works, maybe send out some more of them. So that'll be really cool. And eventually, I think they said that the people that were in the stress test before will eventually get in as well. So it sounds like they're really going to be ramping up over the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Good
But the
deal.
fact that it's starting is awesome.
Good deal. And we know eventually they're going to want to test raids. They're going to want to test some of their big 40-man raids. They've got to. Well, I would assume they got to. I know they got their internal testers. So maybe we'll see some guild invites here in the future. For some of the guilds. That would be pretty awesome too to get in there and test some raid content, see what it's about.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I like raiding on a personal basis. I want it to work. I want it to be right. So any chance that, to get in there and test the raid content to make it run smoother and better is always a good thing.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a smart decision on their part, in my opinion, to get
Absolutely.
that stuff out. I mean, let's face it. Let's look at it from an analytical point of view, from a business view. It's November. People, kids or not kids, teenagers and college students and people, they're getting ready to quote unquote go on holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, that kind of stuff. And if they start now, they start building the interest. People will want to play. They're not the only MMO out there. Sorry, WildStar, I know you guys are awesome, but let's face it, you're not the only one there. And you guys are doing the right thing by getting people in there, getting their taste, the appetite whetted just a little bit, so they're like, I want more, and they keep following you. And now it's the perfect time. Thanksgiving coming around, people are gonna be, hanging out, except for you guys in retail. I'm sorry. I mean, I have to take advantage of Black Friday, but this is a good thing for everyone involved, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point. They're launching against some competition next year and this year, really. You got EverQuest Landmark that's going to be coming out sometime between now and February. You got Elder Scrolls, which most people are assuming is going to launch soon after WildStar. I don't think it's going to beat WildStar out of the gate. And then possibly the second part of the EverQuest franchise, the actual EverQuest next game, maybe at the end of next year, beginning of the year after. So I mean, they've got some stiff competition that they're launching with. So definitely they want the testers in there to make sure everything's running smoothly, make sure the game is, A, playable, and B, enjoyable. Maybe the other way around. But from all the hype and everything and all the videos, this looks like a fun game. It really does. I mean, even the little intro and disclaimer at the beginning of every video. I mean, you're just like, that's cool.
Well, and if memory serves me right, and I'm going back, I think a few weeks, maybe a few months, I lose track of time, but I believe they came out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they came out and said that they did not want to invite big guilds into the beta and throw them into a raid setup. They wanted to get the people in there and have them level up and then test the rating. So if they're going by that viewpoint, then they obviously they want to get a large group of people in there so that they can start leveling up, so that they can get to those higher levels, so that they can actually do the raids and know what they're doing.
Which makes sense. I remember several games. EverQuest 2 being one of them, that you got in, they gave you a stat buff to get up to the higher levels, and then you went and you just got raffle stomped in a raid. You had no idea how to play your class, and you had no idea what the raid was about. And the combination of the two, not a good thing. I mean, in a common Trinity system, there are basics. There's tanking, there's healing, there's DPS, and there's, support, crowd control, so to speak. But as far as actually knowing your class, that takes from level 0 to level whatever it maxes at when you raid. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. You get competent raid, well, for the most part, competent raiders in there. All right, so next topic. And this is a short cast tonight, but next topic. Week number 3, what are we looking at? What do you think? I think somebody called it last week, said Esper was going to be this week. I don't remember who.
Yeah, it was Puddles.
It was Puddles.
It was Puddles.
Go Puddles. He knows it. I tell you what, he's been following this game religiously. So week number 3, what are we looking at?
Well, as Puddles said last week, if they go by their webpage, next week should be the Spell Slinger. So it looks like we have Spell Slinger next week, then the Stalker, and then the 2 new classes.
That'll be neat. And I know everybody's waiting for the last 2 weeks. Everybody wants to find out about the medic and the engineer. You know,
Yep.
what can the medic do? Is the engineer actually a tank, not a tank? What is the engineer? You know, it's we're all waiting on the edge of our seats for it. We really want to see it. And then I think we'll see people start to make their decisions, you know, at least in their mind before they actually get in the game to what they're leaning toward. Like I said, being the person who likes to play tanks, I saw the Warrior video and I'm like, 2-handed weapon, big rock dude. Ooh, this looks cool. Definitely
Yeah.
tank. But rumor has it the engineer may be some sort of range tank class. And if that's
Yep.
the case, you know, I kind of like that range tank and stuff from Star Wars. The Vanguard's had it going on, no doubt about it.
No doubt. Well, and as you can see, I mean, I think a lot of people, at least myself, a big thing is trying to get that race class combination and what's available. And as we saw with the Esper that came out, I mean, they only have, you know, 2 races on each
Yeah.
side. That can be the Esper. You got the Cassian and the Chua on the Dominion side, and the Human and the Orans on the Exile side. So if you were somebody that really wanted to play an Esper and also really wanted to play a Granok, well, that combination's not going to be available. So
Yeah.
I think
And-
as we find out what can be what, that's going to help a lot of people decide where they want to go.
That's true. That's true. You know, I like the Granok. He looks tanky, but if he doesn't turn out to be able to be an engineer, oh, that's a hard decision right there. I might have to go
Yep.
Chua. Chuas are a guaranteed engineer. They got it. I mean,
Yeah,
they
you
just
see
look
them
like
with
an
guns
engineer.
everywhere.
Yeah, you see them with guns everywhere. You know, provided the engineer has a gun. But you know, they just look like little tinkerers. You know, so it's you know, I might have to go Chua. Chip, what about you? Chua for the win?
No. Cassian, Spellslinger, that's it. I'm done. You gotta look good while you're killing face. And the Cassian, I mean, granted, all the exiles look cool, but let's face it, I mean, she just looked so BA and all of the WildStar stuff they came out. She's just like, I'm cool, I know it, let's do this.
All right,
We gotta go with it.
On the off chance, what if a Cassian can't be a spell slinger?
Oh, well, that's the first time I've heard Chip fly in a
Tears.
long time.
You
Chip
just
is
see the
speechless. What do you mean?
My dreams. What's going on here?
All right, guys. Parting thoughts. Strig.
Oh God, I just gotta say I am just super stoked that things are moving forward. We were in a super dry spell for so long. It was good for my real life and being able to get around and get some things accomplished. But
Oh, you're there.
this is so long overdue. I am so happy they're firing up beta again and starting to come out with a lot of information on WildStar Wednesdays, where you actually look forward to WildStar Wednesdays for the first time in a really long time. So
No doubt. Real information.
yes, things are really pumping up. This is getting really exciting. So I'm gonna have a hard time waiting until spring of next year, but it's good things, man. Good things.
Parting thoughts. Chip.
Carbine Studios, keep up the good work. Don't let all these, all the other influences ruin what you guys are trying to do. You're doing an amazing job. People want to play your game. Keep it up.
Oh, absolutely. People definitely want to play the game.
That's all I
Cross
can
your
really
fingers
say.
for beta. Hopefully we'll all get in one day. And this has been Steelheart, Streeg, Chip, Debuff WildStar News. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see y'all next week.